What's up, friends? Today I'm attending my first SIV class. SIV stands for Simulated to Incident in Vol or something like that. Basically, it's simulated incidents in flight. So we're going to induce different things that could go wrong while paragliding and then learn how to manage and manipulate those incidents in a safe environment so that if it ever happens for real, we know what to do and we're just a better, safer pilot. Okay, so that class was sick. We're going to recap it real quick. SIVs are kind of encouraged right out of initial flight training. I didn't feel like I would get the most out of it back then, so I waited. Here I am 4 years later. I finally attended my first SIV. Super glad I did. And I'm also glad that I waited because I definitely would not have got the most out of it. However, I probably would have been 6 or 7 SIVs deep by this point, and I can't imagine where I would be as a pilot. If you're considering doing an SIV, there's never a bad time right out of training or today, tomorrow, whatever. The other takeaway I got from it was you're not just going to do one. More is better than as many as you can do. You're just going to keep progressing and gaining value from each one. Biggest thing I gained from this class was a massive confidence boost, and I think every other student in the class felt the same way. After each tow, I just felt so much better as a pilot, and I really can't convey that. I think it's just something you have to experience. So the class construct, we basically met up in the mornings at a pre-designated location. We loaded everything on boats and towed out to a remote area where we had a beach setup that we did the boat tows off of. A tow is basically a tow line on a winch system that auto retracts, and it's hooked to you on a tow bridle. You're pulled off the beach and kind of fed up into the air, almost like parasailing. And then when that tow line gets extended all the way out, you have a release handle you release. It drops the line. The line has a parachute, so it doesn't obviously just drop all the way to the lake. And it's auto retracted in until that parachute gets all the way back to the boat. From that point on, you're kind of clear in the pattern to do the maneuvers. We're of course on radio comms with the tow operator throughout the tow, given directions. And then once we're free of the tow, the lead instructor takes over the comms and we're on radio communications through each maneuver. There's ground school before each tow, and the instructors check you all out, make sure everything's set up and right. And then once you're done with the entire flight, you get some feedback on the ground. You also get feedback in the air too in real time, which is nice. In between maneuvers, some quick tips and in the moment feedback, which I thought was very valuable, especially like some runs you're doing a maneuver multiple times. So after the first one, you get some quick feedback that you can apply right away to the second one while you're still in the air, which is great. Tows consistently were around 26 to 2,800 feet, shooting for the 3,000 foot mark. Of course, you're over water. You've got a life vest. You have multiple rescue craft. There was 2 boats and 2 jet skis available, especially for the high risk maneuvers. Of course, the radio comms and reserve chute. Tow number 1, I went up and it's supposed to be asymmetrics, frontal, and then beeline stall. And that's really the typical progression for first-time SIV attendees. So I did 2 left side asymmetrics, 2 right side asymmetrics, 2 frontals, and then the beeline. Advice, pro tip, this was given to me by other students that were on multiple SIVs. On your asymmetrics and frontal, really send it, really hammer those A's. Make it the worst that you can experience while you're in a training environment. So in the real world, it's not as big of a deal.
Good, lean and steady. And not too heavy on brakes, we want to be... Go ahead. Hands up, let it fly. Hands up, let it fly. Good.
Really was shocked at how little movement there was and how little altitude I lost. I really didn't feel anything, to be honest. When I reviewed the footage afterwards, I certainly gave it a pretty good jolt. So definitely got a boost off of those right off the bat. The second tow was a repeat of the first tow, but under speed bar. It kind of gives you a better idea of how that speed system works and builds a little bit of muscle memory in the process of releasing the speed bar when you're trying to go hands up or add pressure or do different things.
Full speed, yank down, and lean left and steer a little left. Good. Great, and now we'll go full speed bar again and we'll do frontal. So all of your A's across the whole wing, and then we go hands up and come off the bar for recovery. Go ahead, now hands up, and now let it fly. Perfect.
Tow number 3, we got to play with spirals. My first spiral, I was looking down, and I think it's a bad muscle memory I developed from always recording footage off my helmet, that when I go into turns, I like to try to look down and give the viewer a view of what that looks like as the earth kind of spins or whatever. There's different things I'm shooting sometimes, and that's definitely not a good flight move. So in a spiral, you want to look out at your wing and see what the angle is so you can manage that. I was not doing that. I was looking down and I felt a lot of pressure building up. The instructor's telling me to keep going deeper. I felt like I was way too deep and I bailed, right? I just kind of held there or kind of backed out of it. So I had 2 spirals that were not particularly great. And then I ended with some wing overs. That was valuable because I started to learn the timing of my weight transfer, which I thought was extremely valuable because I've been doing it wrong.
A little more brake. Good. And we want to ride that wheelie at 45, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Keep going, a little bit more brake. A little bit more. Good. Something like that. Keep it going for a little bit, keep it going. Now ease out by going back into this spiral as you exit. Great. And that was maybe 30 degrees. It was pretty mild.
So for the 4th tow, I had the option to go on to full stalls, but I felt that I should try to revisit the spirals and build even more confidence off them by looking out at my wing and dial that in. I also felt really good about the weight transfer that I had learned on the wing overs at the end of that run. So I wanted to just repeat the entire run and build upon what I had. I really decided to pump the brakes on the class at that point and kind of dial in what I had just done. So 4th tow, went into 2 spirals. I looked out at my wing and to my bewilderment, I was able to go way deeper and not feel that pressure buildup. So I don't know if anyone else has ever felt that. I've not heard that or seen that in any other instruction or videos, but if you're looking down, you're gonna feel G forces or some sort of forces. You're gonna feel something that doesn't feel good. When you look out at the wing and you hold that brake and you're just staring out like you're supposed to as it's spiraling, it feels so much better. You can go a lot deeper and you don't get that anxiety or that pressure buildup. I feel like I really nailed those spirals. They certainly weren't the tightest, but the confidence I got from those was massive. I also finished with the wing overs at the back of that run and started to get better on the timing. I really got a lot of value out of the 4th tow.
Good, right about there, and hold that, hold that, hold that, good. Now back out, there you go, and now back in for the exit, back in. Yes, nice exit, that was great.
So we were guaranteed 4 tows in the class, but we all got a 5th bonus tow because the weather played nice and everything was just so streamlined and going so well. So for the 5th tow, I originally planned to do the full stalls. I kind of pulled out of that and we went with spirals again. I figured I'm going to set that up for my next SIV class. I was on a high, things were going good. So we went into spirals again and just locked them in deeper. I went for a really good, solid run. The spirals were great. The wing over combo was good. And then I still had a lot of time to burn off. So I went into a big ears that I really haven't done a lot of and decided I wanted to hold it for a period of time. Without a motor, this was great to really understand that weight transfer and how much it works for you. So with half my wing collapsed in a big ears, I used weight shift transfer to turn and held the ears throughout the turn, did some nice sweeping S-turns as I headed towards the LZ. And I thought that was a really cool thing to kind of play with at the end of the run.
Lots of weight shift and add some brake. Get that wing to 45 relatively quickly. Good, and try to ride the wheelie at 45. Right about there, and just keep it coming around just like that. Keep it coming a little more, a little deeper is okay. Yep, there you go, good, and try to keep it there for a bit. Good, now out and back in for the exit. Very nice exit, that was perfect. Okay, that's a little deep, let's back off a little bit. There you go, hold it at 45, keep it coming. Yep, keep it coming. A little more is okay. A little more. Right at 45 with that leading edge. Yeah, good, and then back in for the exit. Circular exit.
So that's my overview of my SIV class. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're a newer pilot, I highly encourage you to do an SIV right away. From the value that I gained from this one, I can tell you I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 a year from this point forward. And I'm super excited for the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like.